I don't care, and I don't want to do this anymore. Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about how I became an influencer. I have some friends here with me today. I decided to steal their chair. This is Winnie the Pooh, this is Totoro, my favorite elephant, and Eeyore. This is their spot. It's a long story because I have been doing social media for over 9 years now. Very long time. But how it started, it's unique. Actually, we're going to take it way back. We're going to start from around 5th grade. In about 5th grade, I had first gotten an Instagram account, and I remember my other friends in my elementary school, way too young to have an Instagram by the way, post their photos and then get like 20 likes. I'm like, how do you know 20 people? And boom, day one, I was just ready to be famous at 5th grade. Doing what? I don't know. I went so out of my way to just blend in with everybody because I was only getting like 11 likes and they were getting like 22 likes. So I was like, watch this. I would do the like for like, follow for follow in 5th grade. This existed back then, I know. I would get like 60 likes in like 5th grade. Very overexposed to the internet, yeah, as I have said. And then I would ask these random strangers, because hashtags were a huge thing back then, I would ask these random strangers to give me like a TBH and rate, and nobody knew me. They'd be like, TBH, I don't know you, rate 6. But now I had comments on my page, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I hope everyone's seeing this. Like, I'm getting so many likes and comments. Talk about needing validation. That's all really social media really is. It's just a good way to seek validation, you know, in some aspects. It takes a lot of not caring about what people think to do social media, but then it takes I don't care what people think, but I really hope they like it, you know? And then a few years go by, I've just always just had a thing for attention. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm an only child, you know, attention never runs short. All of that aside, middle school has started, I mean 6th grade, 7th grade, whatever the heck. 8th grade, Musical.ly started to become popular. My friend, I didn't even know it existed at this point, but she had made a Musical.ly with one of her friends and it went viral, which was like a, huh? What do you mean it went viral? Like, we're in 8th grade. What does that mean? So she was telling us all to like download the app and, you know, start posting on there. Me and a whole bunch of people in my grade just downloaded the app and trying to see what this app Musical.ly was about. Oh yeah, to get viral on Musical.ly, you had to have a video get featured. When you would get featured on Musical.ly at the time, it would basically put a featured symbol on your video and it would put it on the featured page, which every single user who has the app would have a chance to see it because they only did a few like a day. They would probably do like, this is a rough guess, like 100 a day, and there was millions of people on there, so that is huge. And now we're all just trying to figure out how it is. We're making videos. Me and that friend had made a few videos, and then some of the other friends had made a few videos. But we were trying to see like, how do you get this little featured thing? Like, I want to go viral. Some of my other friends, they did it. They freaking got viral with the video that they had made. They had gotten featured on Musical.ly, and it was like, oh my gosh, both of you guys have gotten featured on this thing. Like, this is crazy. And now more people are downloading the app in my grade, and more people are trying to see like how to get featured on Musical.ly. So now I'm trying my hardest, and then it just became this whole ordeal for like all of us to just grind these videos out. And for some context, if you're wondering why this was so exciting for us, in the city we all lived in, Temecula, California, it's a nice city for adults who want to drink wine. And especially during that time, which I would say was like 2014, there was nothing to do for kids out there. They didn't even have that many parks out there compared to what there is now. They didn't have as many shopping centers out there as they did now. There was nothing. Social media was the source of entertainment for kids in Temecula, and you guys will find out that a lot of the influencers that you guys know and admire today are probably from Temecula. Now I'm gonna take a pause here and I have to give you guys just a little bit more backstory. I had a friend that I had made in 7th grade, so grade before. She had a huge fandom and following from going live on YouNow. I'm not too sure how that came about because that's not my story. And then there's a friend that I have now, back in that day, she was huge on Instagram, and so everyone, there were just so many people in my city that were kind of just in the area, some being my friends, some not, that just had a following on social media at such young ages. Like, these people are 11, 12, 13, and it just became a thing. Anyways, so I'm making these videos and I'm having a blast, and then one day I get featured. Like, I got featured. This is crazy. I don't even remember what video it was. I just remember it ended up happening. So now it's this girl, she got another feature, and then the other friend, they got a whole other features, and then I'm starting to begin to get features. And so now it's becoming like a whole rave that we're all doing. When we would go and hang out, we would just make videos. We all got incredibly far with it. I have to count, but it came to a point where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It might be 9, 10 on the dot, if not more, people with at least 30,000 followers on Musical.ly. And some of these people were reaching way more. One of the friend who had first gotten featured, she had 500,000 followers. The other one, 1 million followers. I, at one point in 8th grade, had hit 600K followers at the age of 12 to 13 years old. This was just a huge thing that all of us were just all doing together. You can only imagine the adrenaline we felt at that age, getting that kind of attention. 8th grade to freshman year is a huge transition. I had mentioned this in a previous video, but people in California, you know, they think it's cool, but no one's gonna, what's the terminology in today's age? No one's gonna glaze you for being cool as much as you think you would like to be. And these high schoolers were threatening. I know some of the other girls that were big on social media were getting threatened. I was receiving, not direct threats, but I was receiving some unwelcoming vibes to get into this high school experience. A lot of my other friends, they just kind of got caught up with life. They just stopped focusing on social media and started doing their own thing. But a few of us ended up still running with it. We were able to kind of maintain what we wanted to do, and we still enjoyed it when it kind of started to fade out and Musical.ly wasn't as relevant anymore. But one small group of the people, they got so big that they didn't even go into public school. They decided to go to online school, didn't go to public school at all until freshman year, and kind of make that their living. At this point, it's a job. It turned into just being a fun little thing we would all do to now it's a career. At the age of now 13, 14 years old, I quit. I ended up quitting Musical.ly and social media before I got into freshman year because I cared so much about what people were gonna think of me when I went in there. Because like I said, it wasn't like I was gonna walk in and everyone's gonna be like, oh my gosh, Ari. No one's gonna do that. We're gonna be like, who does she think she is? Like you're in high school, we don't care. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let them have anything against me. I'm quitting. I'm just gonna be normal. I can't take the pressure of this. Because when I started being given opportunities to make money off of this app, it was just so overwhelming. They were having me make ads and I was like, I look so ugly. I can't do this. And it just created a bad image of myself. I had started getting these unrealistic expectations of me. And then like if drama got brought to the internet to me at that time, it felt like the end of the world. I didn't really have too much of a support system when it became serious, as some other people did when it became serious for them. You guys may know some of these people, but it's not my story to tell. High school had came around, it became TikTok. Once it became TikTok, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not posting on there. Sorry, that's weird. I ended up kind of just having a normal freshman year, didn't do anything too special. And then sophomore year came around and as I also said in my previous video, things started to get hard and I would just be in my room bored. I decided I'd make a video, try this little TikTok thing out, and it did well. I was like, what? I haven't been back on in all this time and it did well. It did a lot better than I thought. And then I'd post some other videos and sometimes it wouldn't do well, but you know, sometimes it would, and it kind of gives you that adrenaline. Then you kind of get consistent likes and then consistent comments, and then it's like you have like this little community with you and you're like, oh my gosh. And then a whole bunch of things in life happen and it just became my source of sanity. People who know me might beg to differ, but I just feel like my personality in real life isn't as exciting as the personality that I portray on social media. But the person on social media was me. It just wasn't a normal way to express yourself unless it was on social media. So that was like my safe space to be weird. And then so by that time, the whole group of people in 8th grade, 90% of them just ended up quitting as well and just living a normal life. But there was a few of them that really, still to this day, have a career out of it. So I started picking it back up in my sophomore year, and then I got offered to get paid to make a video. I was like, whoa, like this is so crazy. I had 600K followers still from Musical.ly. At this point, I probably gained like 650K, maybe 700K followers, still amazing. And they offered me $30 to make a video, which now that I look back at it, they were scamming me, and they were probably getting like $1,000 and giving me 30 because they were getting a cut out of it. I was like, $30 to make a 15-second video? That's a deal. Are you kidding me? So I was like, hell yeah, like what? Bring all the promos. I'll get $30 every day. That's more than I can make in an hour. And then they started bringing in like consistent promos. They're called promos, where you'd either promote a song or maybe a product. So this was like life-changing. I was working at Little Caesars, and so doing this on top of the social media, it was really becoming something where I could sustain myself with. Then COVID hit, and then I had moved out of my parents' house, and I had nothing better to do but make videos all day, every day, non-stop. And at one point was on social media so much, I updated my bio when I would eat, when I would cry. I would update my bio because of how chronically online I was. People were messing with it. They were like, hell yeah, I got nothing better to do either, so I'm gonna find out what time you're eating and taking a shower or sleeping. And then I had gotten into a management, and I realized that I could be offered so much more than $30 for a 15-second video, because while the video is 15 seconds, it's not like the worst labor work in the world, but it doesn't take 15 seconds to make every time. Sometimes it could quite literally take 1 minute versus a few hours. It kind of just depends on the day. And then I think I was in my junior year. I had hit 1 million followers. This was the craziest thing ever. I was just so blessed to have a community because, you know, in the pandemic, shit was so lonely. The world was so different that everyone, you know, kind of, this was our way of connecting with each other because we were just so blocked off from the real world. I had found some more friends that just wanted to pursue social media, and it would be the same thing like 8th grade, where we would just spend all day just making videos. And the mindset that we had when we were making these videos were obviously like to go quote unquote viral, but it was really just because we simply just enjoyed it. It wouldn't necessarily knock us down if it did bad, but if it did well, it was like amazing. Realistically, the high only lasted, you know, maybe 10 seconds, and then it's just, okay, when do I get on to the next one? Then I realized this is when content houses became huge. This is when TikTok became enormous, when the Hype House thing had like all started, and I realized that these people who had started way later than I did and growing way faster were getting insane opportunities that didn't even seem attainable to me. Like, it was like I was an influencer in my mind, but these people were like mega influencers, where even I was intimidated, and I'm like, I don't even think I could be at that type of level. Then one day, me and my friend, we were both doing social media, we were making videos together. We got invited to go to LA, and I got to see it all with my own eyes. Like, not exactly the Hype House itself, not that deep, but like I got to see the life of an influencer with my own eyes. Because while I was an influencer, I was kind of out of touch with the community itself. I wasn't intertwined with the other creators, maybe a few online, but I wasn't one with them, and I didn't have, honestly, a niche. It was more just lifestyle and PS type of videos. But I got to go to LA, and I got to see all these people who were just equally just as passionate and wanting to grow a name for themselves, and they were just reaching numbers I'd never seen before, and it was just so inspiring, and it made me want to work so much harder. And it became from being in 8th grade just making videos all day every day to hang out, then being in my junior year with my friend in her room just making videos all day every day just for the joy of it. And now I'm 17, 18 years old with huge groups of people with these huge amazing things that they built for themselves, making videos for hours just because we just all enjoy it. Like, it was actually fun for all of us. It didn't feel like a job. It was just so funny because there would be like set up hangout days where all these influencers would meet up at like a designated area, and we would just film everyone's unique ideas, and there was just no judgment. It could be as weird as you want it to be, and no one, like, because no one was like, oh, I don't want to be on camera, like everyone's like showing their personality. And so like now we're all helping each other build up and grow. Now all these other people have made careers out of it. Some of them have chosen to venture out into new things, but it just became a thing that just was always naturally aligned with what was happening in my life. It never was anything that was forced. I was able to keep doing it. I ended up moving out to LA and pursuing this even further, and then just after a few years it kind of just faded out, as you know things normally do. Didn't become as exciting to make videos anymore. anymore. People, after they've grown to a certain point, their ego just kind of hit a point where it's like they're unbearable to be around, and then people just start becoming judgmental. And it was kind of sad seeing how the beginning of you going to LA became being this inviting community for everyone to just help each other grow to a I'm better than you hostile environment, almost being too cool to film videos even though that's what you do for work. So it was an interesting switch. That mindset really doesn't get you far. And yeah, so I ended up just moving away out of that, kind of being directly in that crowd. And now I still do social media, but more on my own terms alone. And would it be amazing to make a whole bunch of fun videos with a whole bunch of groups of people again? Heck yes. I'm not that good. I don't really pursue dancing as much. I can't really hit the whoa or dab without cringing at myself. That's my own ego. But it would be fun to do that, have that chance again. I know a lot of people ask, like, how do you become an influencer? How do you get big on social media? My advice, I think you just have to stop looking at it like it's a job, or that it's like specifically a goal that you have to reach, because you're gonna get disappointed and knocked on your butt so many times. I had to start over building a community from scratch over and over and over again, and even though I had the numbers, the community eventually fades out and those users become inactive. When I had the 600k followers, I went from having 20,000 likes consistently, 30,000 likes consistently in 8th grade, to when I had went back on in my sophomore year, I ended up getting about 2,000 likes, which isn't terrible, but you see that big dip and it knocks you back on your butt. And then same thing goes as the audience that connected with me when I was 16, 17 isn't gonna be the same audience that connects with me as I'm 21 years old. There's always gonna be the few people that, you know, stick around, and those are your real supporters at the end of the day, but it fluctuates and your taste fluctuates and what you wanna post fluctuates and life gets in the way. So trying to create just a strong niche, and unless it's really what you're passionate about, kind of just posting for the sole hope to win over crowds of people is gonna be more of a disappointment than anything. And so if you decide to ever post on social media, you kind of just have to take it to the chin that it might be months or years before anything goes into a stable wave, because this has been something I've been doing for 9 years, and there are people who have been doing what I've been doing for 5 months with triple the amount of reward that I have accumulated over this time. And that's just how it goes for people. Some people, it really is just a one video and they skyrocket, but that is like 1% of the world. It wasn't even me. All of my friends, when we were in 8th grade, when we were doing videos, I wasn't the first of the bunch and I wasn't the second. It took me some time. Whatever creativity that you have in your mind, you just have to do it. It doesn't have to be perfect, and that was something I had to tell myself, that perfection isn't gonna grow me. I have to just do it and learn along the way. And over time, it'll just get better and better. I will also say, doing social media for the sole hope of numbers, it's gonna be a hard reality check, because even, let's say even you get 2 million followers, I'm telling you, there will come a point where like, I don't care and I don't want to do this anymore, and it won't matter how well you're doing. You're gonna want to put it to the side, because eventually it just doesn't fulfill whatever empty gap you have inside of yourself. And there has been moments where I'm like, I don't even want to do this. Like, why am I still posting? Like, this isn't even fun. And that's why in 8th grade the numbers were so amazing, but little 13-year-old wasn't even fazed by the numbers at that point and quit, because it wasn't real fulfillment. It was the genuine joy of just wanting to do it that was actually fulfilling, and the validation from the media was just an additional reward. But I myself was satisfied with what I was putting out, and the extraness was just extra. Like, it was just extra support. If you get miserable posting, if it doesn't get media attention, then I promise you, you're not going to be fulfilled when it does. May work for a little bit, maybe even just a while, but that adrenaline is not sustainable, and that's why a lot of creators, you've noticed over the years, end up being temporary. A lot of the influencers that you guys may have admired when you were kids versus even just a few years ago, a year ago, you've noticed that if you check back in on their pages, if you try to remember, some of them are still trying to do social media, but it's just nowhere before. And a lot of other people just completely quit. They just don't do it. They live normal lives. So don't be a social media influencer just because it's trending. Don't do it because you know there's good opportunity in it. don't do it just hoping to receive what you're seeing everyone receive, because I don't even get a lot of the opportunities that I'm seeing all these creators receive, because it just is what comes natural to them. When you love what you do, any benefit is just an additional blessing. It's not what keeps you passionate. It's not what keeps you going. What keeps me going on social media is the community, but I am equally as grateful for 10 people supporting me as I am for 100, 1,000, or 1,000,000 people supporting me. A second time I had quit social media, like I had said, in 8th grade. I have also completely sacrificed at another point because it wasn't actually fulfilling for me. I had a huge community just 2 years ago, but they didn't want me. They didn't admire me for the reasons that made me me, and it became miserable, and it even paid well, but it was terrible to have a community that looked up to you in that manner. And it offered me opportunity. It offered me a completely new lifestyle. It offered me every luxury in the world one could imagine, but I hated it because the attention and money wasn't enough, because I was compromising myself. So when you compromise yourself on social media to get money or just a whole bunch of attention, if it's not for being you, 100% you, or anything that you're 100% proud of, it won't last a long time. The people who last on social media for a long time are people who could do it even with one person watching, because that's not their motivating thing. So as I was saying previously, 2 years ago I had ditched a completely different community that had supported me, because I would have rather had a smaller community that actually supported me for me than a bigger community and more money that was for the wrong reasons that I didn't want it to be defined as. And that's when I had realized that, you know what, like maybe the people who have quadruple of what I have now, what I have with myself, is enough. I love what I have right now because I know at this point I'm being myself, and these people that support me are supporting me, and they keep me going, yes, but even when there's one person listening, when I feel like I'm making a change for one person, it doesn't make it any less motivating versus when it's 1,000,000 people. It does knock me on my butt sometimes when I feel like I've been doing well for so long and I have been reaching high numbers, and then it just dips out of nowhere and I thought I was doing the right thing. That's when I just have to kind of ground myself and reflect on the purpose of why I'm doing this. And I just have to come to terms that there's highs and lows with it, and I'm gonna change. People's taste is gonna change. The trends are always gonna change. If you want to be an influencer, you got to be in it for the long run, and you got to be willing to accept that you can't be the top best person forever, and you got to be okay with failing over and over and over again. If you want to make a positive change, then you got to be okay with it just being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people, because if what you're doing is good enough, eventually over time, if you're patient, it will reach further. I'm not saying stunt yourself and aim for low goals, and I'm not saying to not reach for the stars. I'm just saying go in it with proper intention. Go in it, because yes, social media is a validation game, but at the end of the day, the only person's opinion and perspective that should really matter is yourself. And posting 10 back-to-back videos and being like, oh my gosh, it's not going viral, so I'm giving up, that's your issue. Because I've gone months having that pattern. I've gone even at some point years with that pattern. And I like to tell myself there's going to be a day when I have another huge community again. But the people that support me right here, right now, I'm equally as grateful for. And I am in this for the long run. Even if right now, as I'm speaking and telling the story, only 10 of you are listening, because I feel good telling the story, and I'm okay. And I'm okay with slow progress. So that's kind of the mindset you have to go about it with. Being anything you want to be is completely possible. If you're gonna reach for the stars, take some time to get to the stars. It's not like you could just make one big jump and then hope you reach it. You gotta do some trial and error to figure out just exactly how to get to that star up there. You know, once you touch the star, you fall back down. So gotta do another trial and error again to see if you can reach it again. It's kind of like going up and down until you can kind of just grab it and snatch it back down with you, if that's even possible. I don't know, but I'm still figuring this out. Is there really an end goal? Not really. Like, is there a day that'll probably, you know, I can't be 50, you know, making these videos? Maybe I can. We'll see. But for those of you that have been on this journey for me for a long time, I love you guys and I appreciate you guys' support. I try to be as transparent with even just how my mindset is at certain points in my life, because it's just the reality of things. And even if it's just an embarrassing thing to admit, like, I definitely post it on social media, maybe sometimes even this day, just for a little kind of validation. It's just the truth. And it's a learning process. But let me know if you're watching this, let me know what made you discover me, and just let me know your thoughts. And if you want to become an influencer, I'd like to hear what your thoughts, and I'd like to hear, and if you are an influencer, I'd like to hear your story. I feel like all of our stories are similar, but yet so different, you know? Dream big, but take action and have patience. Failing is inevitable, so just accept it and learn. And if you learn enough, after some point, you gotta succeed, right? But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be back soon. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.